Hello, my name is benjaminzmiller, and I am the managing director of Alamo Mortgage Holdings. Alamo Mortgage Holdings is a United Kingdom company that can pay you a significant long-term income when you purchase our corporate income bonds. I'm going to go through this presentation today and give you an overview, but first I have a disclaimer, and that is, as accredited investors, you will be aware that all investments carry some level of risk. This investment is only available to investors who are able to assess their own appetite for risk. Please read the risk statement within the investment memorandum before investing. Okay, fantastic. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So why do so many UK investors still purchase gilts for passive income? And are UK gilts still worthwhile during high inflation and a weakening British pound? Well, it's interesting, the history of the US dollar and the British pound sterling, the exchange rate. If we go back to 1945, towards the end of World War II, one British pound would purchase 4 American dollars. And yet, if we go all the way to the 1st of January 2023, one British pound only purchases $1.21 US. That is a huge loss in value of the British pound against the US dollar. The British pound over the decades has depreciated a significant amount against the US dollar. And that's real relevant if you're a UK citizen and if the majority of the holdings that you have are denominated in British pounds, because getting an 8% rate of return on a pound sterling investment is much different than getting an 8% rate of return on a US dollar denominated investment. The nice thing about our company is you can choose which currency you want to get the return in. You can convert out of pounds into US dollars if you're concerned that the British pound will keep losing value and the dollar will keep strengthening, or if you are a pound bull and you think that the British pound is going to increase in value, you can just purchase the bond in British pounds. But we can help you with that either way. We don't make any money on the exchange rate. We do it at the listed exchange rate when you convert. And then what we do is we purchase mortgage debt. And that is why we can offer such very high returns to our bondholders that are hundreds of basis points and hundreds of pounds over what they might be able to earn on UK gilts or other government bonds. There's 6 factors that affect the value of a mortgage note. So if you're going to purchase mortgage debt, you need to know how these 6 factors work. The buyer. Who is the buyer of the asset? Their credit. What is their credit like? Do they have good credit? Do they have bad credit? Do they have stable income? Not stable income. The collateral. How much is the actual collateral worth? That is very important to actually know what the asset that is backing the debt is worth, because you will find out there in the market examples where the collateral does not equal or even come close to the value of the debt. And that has to be factored in if you're buying debt. The down payment. Did the buyer come in when they purchased the real estate? Did they put a big down payment or did they put a small down payment? A bigger down payment is better. It means there's less risk of a default. The terms. What's the interest rate at? All other factors held constant, an interest rate that is higher is more attractive to buy than one that is lower on a mortgage note. So if you could buy a mortgage note that paid 10% interest, that's better than buying one that pays 5% interest. The history of the note. How long is it a new note? Has the buyer already made some payments? Has the borrower made payments on the note? Or is it a note that has 5 years of third-party servicing that's independently verified by a servicing company? And speaking of servicing companies, SecureNet Loan Services in Texas is by far the best out there. So if you ever need a servicing company, that's where Alamo does all of our servicing. They are the best servicing company you can find. The paperwork, that is really important. Was it closed properly at a title company? Were there lawyers that did the paperwork, or was it just 2 guys at a kitchen table that jumped on LegalZoom and created some paperwork, or they pulled out Microsoft Word? What about an example? Let's take an example here of an actual hypothetical mortgage note. This is on a real property. This is in Sweetwater, Texas, and the sales price of it is $120,000. It was actually offered for sale. Now, what I'm showing is a theoretical example to explain a transaction. It's not one that we have in our portfolio. So let's imagine that a buyer came in and they said, hey, I can't get a mortgage, but I'd like to buy the house. I'll put down $20,000, Mr. Seller. Will you finance it to me? And Mr. Seller said, okay, sure, I'll finance it to you at a 10% rate of interest. So that worked out to monthly payments of $877 per month. And let's imagine that borrower has been doing a good job every month for 60 months on time. Without fail, they've made the payment. So the amortization on that mortgage note is the unpaid balance is now $96,574.32. Now let's imagine that the owner of that note, the individual that sold the real estate and agreed to finance the borrower, now wants or needs cash. They would call up a company like Alamo Mortgage Holdings and they would say, hey, I've got a note that has an unpaid balance of $96,574. I would like to sell it for cash. Will you please buy my note? I want to get $96,574. And then there's negotiation that takes place back and forth. And let's imagine that the cash price that's agreed on is $83,322. That note is offering a 12% yield now, even though the interest rate's only 10% because it was purchased at a discount. So that is how Alamo makes mortgage, and that is why we can pay our bondholders hundreds of basis points over gilts and other government bonds. But why bonds? Sometimes I'm asked this question by people. They say, well, there's inflation. Why should I buy a bond? Shouldn't I go buy some cryptocurrency? Shouldn't I go do some day trading? Well, good question. Rather than me giving my opinion on why to buy bonds, though I think they are essential, I'm going to talk about Harry Markowitz, who won the 1990 Nobel Prize in economics. And if any of you have accounts at BlackRock or Merrill Lynch or Bank of America, they just love Harry Markowitz's work. They just eat up his work. And they use this modern portfolio theory as the kind of the foundation of what they do with their investors. So they like to get a lot of math going. They like to show how smart they are. But at the end of it, what they're doing is they're allocating the portfolio based on this modern portfolio theory in large part. So, but it's interesting because Harry Markowitz, even though he created this body of work that now many of these large investors use, he didn't actually use it himself when it came to his own portfolio. He did something far, far simpler. Once a year, he'd put half his money in stocks and he'd put half in bonds. And then he would adjust his portfolio. So if the stocks had increased in value, he would sell stocks and then he would buy more bonds. Or if the stocks had decreased in value, he would sell bonds and buy more stocks. Talk about simplicity. That's what Harry Markowitz, a Nobel Prize winning economist, did. And that Harry Markowitz, he created a lot of the work that your account at BlackRock or Merrill Lynch just eats up all of his work. So why would you secure the notes with Texas mortgage debt? Well, the United States has a lot of different states, and we have decided that Texas is the best state to concentrate on. So we like to focus on one thing, and we like to put all of our attention on it. So we're buying exclusively in Texas, and that gives us a massive advantage over the note buyers that are buying all over the United States, because they are often encountering lots of different rules and regulations in different areas. So Texas is one of the best states. It's something where with Texas, we've got a lot of people moving in from New York, from California. They are tired of that job killing regulation. They are tired of the over-regulation. And they say, hey, I'm going to sell my $1 million place in California and I'm going to move to Texas. Oh, look, I can buy a house here for $200,000. That is so funny. I'm going to buy a house. And they buy up real estate, and that increases the demand for Texas real estate. And since the mortgage debt that we buy is collateralized by Texas real estate, that is a huge advantage to us. And more importantly, it's a huge advantage to our bondholders. It's a huge advantage to our bondholders because we're in a state that is winning. We are in a state that is winning. And so when you invest, when you purchase one of the corporate income bonds from Alamo Mortgage Holdings, you benefit from all of that. So let's go through the key features. First, we can help you reach your passive income goals more quickly. If you're a few years from retirement, maybe you are a dentist and you are a few years away from retirement and you want more passive income and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to sell my practice. That's what my retirement's going to be. I'm going to sell my practice. Well, folks, I've got some news for you. Sometimes that works out and sometimes it does not work out, but it is a very dangerous idea to think that your practice is your retirement. Your dental practice may or may not sell at the price that you want. And even if you get the price that you want, if you finance it to a young dentist, you are taking on some significant risks that that young dentist is going to be able to run the practice as well as you can. So just think about that. And it's a good idea to have supplemental passive income. And that is what we specialize in. You can purchase with an annual investment program. You give us an idea of the amount of passive income you want in retirement. Maybe you want 3,000 pounds of extra passive income. Maybe you want 5,000 pounds. Maybe you want 10,000 pounds. Maybe you want even more than that, and you're some sort of an institutional investor. Whatever you are, we can help you. We can get you there. We get you on an annual investment program based on how many years it is until you retire. Each year you invest, you start earning passive income immediately on day one. You earn passive income. It's not something where anything has to happen. You're earning passive income on day one. So that is a huge, huge advantage to Alamo Mortgage Holdings. We also offer diversification. God help the new note investor that tries this on their own. They don't even know what they don't know. It's like a beginning boxer going in and trying to learn how to box when they've never boxed. That is why it is better to work with Alamo, because we know how to box. We know what we're doing, and we can get you a good, solid rate of return, and we can get you to the passive income levels that you are looking for. So it is a huge advantage over trying to do it yourself. Another advantage, and I am so tired of these guys telling me about their low-cost index fund. They just make me laugh. They talk about, well, I've got a low-cost index fund. They're programmed. Their brain is programmed where they have been told so many times that you need a low-cost index fund. They're like, oh, I better do that. Well, folks, is a low-cost index fund, that means you're paying a percentage. It means you're paying a low percentage. That's one way. But with Alamo, you pay no fees. You're paying 0%. So to my mind, 0% is better than some low-cost index fund, but to each their own, to each their own. And unlike a low-cost index fund, we are paying significantly more income than those low-cost index funds, which are basically just gambling on price appreciation, and they don't always go up. There's a lot of people that buy those things. If you look at some of the long-term curves, they do not always perform the way that they are advertised. So the team that I have put together for Alamo Mortgage Holdings is top-notch. We've got a top-notch team that can help you every step of the way, but you've got to do the first step. Just reach out to us. Send us a message. Go to www.alamomortgageholdings.co.uk and just fill out the contact form. We love to hear from new people. So I've got a lot of experience in investing. I've bought a multi-million-dollar portfolio of commercial and residential real estate. I've been involved in the note business. I've got a team that I put together that is top-notch. We have Marina Zaharelska. She's our international investment coordinator, and she is so smart. She is so talented. She speaks multiple languages. She speaks 5 languages now. She's learning a 6th language. As a matter of fact, she's learning Portuguese. So and she graduated from the EU Business School, fantastic person. We've got Scott Wynn, who's an industry expert for Alamo Mortgage Holdings. He's got 30 plus years experience in the mortgage business. We've got Fred Hobbs, who's the director of mortgage servicing. He's a mortgage originator that is licensed in the state of Texas. He has originated thousands of private money mortgages. You can't find better experience than what we have with Fred Hobbs. We have David Jones, who's a third-generation attorney in the state of Texas. He takes care of all of the legal paperwork. David Jones is the best in terms of the mortgage attorney. He knows all about how to do that. He is fantastic. We have Mark DeRuyter, who is our chief technical officer. And if you've used any commercial mortgage software, there's a good possibility you may have used some of the software that he helped create. He's very intelligent, very good team member. Andrew Richings, who's in the United Kingdom. He's a consultant with Thomas Kelly Holdings, which is a boutique private consultancy firm that focuses on private equity and fixed income bonds for ultra high net worth and high net worth investors. He advises us and he helps us. He's fantastic. Few questions. Why buy the note? Well, if you want more income, if you want an above average return, you should buy the note. How long term is the note? 3 years, 5 years, up to 50 years. Can I put the note into my SIP? That actually is up to your provider. You need to check with them, but there's no reason that I can see that it wouldn't work perfectly for your SIP. What type of an investment? It's a corporate income bond. It's not a government bond. Is it a regulated product? Heck no, it's not a regulated product. And that's why we can pay so much more. If we had gone through the additional expense of regulation, we'd have to pay you less income. We would have to pay you less income. So right now, we are not a regulated product. That doesn't mean that in a year or 2 or 3, we might go through the expense and the hassle of becoming a regulated product. But frankly, I think a lot of investors would rather have the extra income. So who can invest? Accredited investor, sophisticated investor, company, trust, charity, come one, come all. How's the money protected? We can go through that on a one-on-one call. We have multiple layers of protection. Can you do joint applications? Yes, we can. Very good, very good. Okay, so how's the tax managed? We don't take anything out. We pay 100% of the money to you. Are there any limits on what you can invest? No, we can work with any sized individual investor. And if you're an institutional investor and you want to do a big placement, we can handle big placements. We welcome institutional investors and we can work with you very closely to put together a big placement for you. Can you get access to the money early? No, this is not like day trading, folks. This is not where, oh my God, I saw something on the news. I better sell it at a loss and show how smart I am. Oh, look, I did this, I did that. Look, that day trading, they've done studies that 99% of them lose money. And I know a lot of investors that have been burned on that cryptocurrency stove where they're trying to gamble on what they think Bitcoin. They got their chart out, their candlesticks. Listen, this is a serious product for serious people that want to make money and don't want to live in a fantasy world. So if you're the type of person that actually wants income and you want a serious bond, Alamo Mortgage Holdings has a solution for you. How do you receive the interest? We pay it to the bank account that you nominate with automatic deposit. How do you invest? Just reach out to me. Send me an email, ben.miller at alamomortgageholdings.co.uk, or go to our website, fill out the contact form, or call me. I've got a US number. We can work with you. Come one, come all to Alamo Mortgage Holdings. I hope that helps, and I wish you good luck with your investing.